Torah portion for July 5th, 2025 is entitled Chukat, which translates to laws. The Torah portion is taken from Numbers chapter 19 through 22, verse 1. The Haftarah is from Judges chapter 11, verses 1 through 33. The apostolic portion is from the book of John chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. Numbers 19. And Yehovah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, saying, This is the law of the Torah, which Yehovah has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they bring you a red heifer, a perfect one, in which there is no blemish, and on which a yoke has never come. And you shall give it to Eleazar the priest, and he shall bring it outside the camp, and shall slaughter it before him. And Eleazar the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and sprinkle some of its blood 7 times toward the front of the tent of meeting. And the heifer shall be burned before his eyes. He burns its hide, and its flesh, and its blood, and its dung. And the priest shall take cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and throw them into the midst of the fire, burning the heifer. The priest shall then wash his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward come into the camp. But the priest is unclean until evening. And he who is burning it washes his garments in water, and shall bathe his body in water, and is unclean until evening. And a clean man shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and shall place them outside the camp in a clean place. And they shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel, for the water of uncleanness. It is for cleansing from sin. And he who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his garments, and is unclean until evening. And it shall be a law forever to the children of Israel, and to the stranger who sojourns in their midst. He who touches the dead of any human being is unclean for 7 days. He is to cleanse himself with the water on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he is clean. But if he does not cleanse himself on the 3rd day, then on the 7th day he is not clean. Anyone who touches the dead of a human being and does not cleanse himself defiles the dwelling place of Yehovah, and that being shall be cut off from Israel. He is unclean, for the water for uncleanness was not sprinkled on him. His uncleanness is still upon him. This is the Torah when a man dies in a tent. All who come into the tent and all who are in the tent are unclean for 7 days. And every open vessel which has no cover fastened on it is unclean. Anyone in the open field who touches someone slain by a sword, or who has died, or a bone of a man, or a grave, is unclean for 7 days. And for the unclean being they shall take some of the ashes of the heifer, burnt for cleansing from sin, and running water shall be put on them in a vessel. And a clean man shall take hyssop and dip it into the water, and shall sprinkle it on the tent, and on all the vessels, and on the beings who were there, or on the one who touched a bone, or the slain, or the dead, or a grave. And the clean one shall sprinkle the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall cleanse himself, and shall wash his garments and bathe in water, and shall be clean in the evening. But the man who is unclean, and does not cleanse himself, that being shall be cut off from among the assembly, because he has defiled the set-apart place of Yehovah. Water for uncleanness has not been sprinkled on him. He is unclean. And it shall be a law for them forever. And the one who sprinkles the water for uncleanness washes his garments, and the one who touches the water for uncleanness is unclean until evening. And whatever the unclean being touches is unclean, and the being who touches it is unclean until evening. Numbers 20. And the children of Israel, all the congregation, came into the wilderness of Sin in the first month, and the people stayed in Kadesh. And Miriam died there, and was buried there. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled against Moshe and against Aharon. And the people contended with Moshe and spoke, saying, If only we had died when our brothers died before Jehovah. Why have you brought up the assembly of Jehovah into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? And why have you brought us up out of Mitzrayim, to bring us to this evil place, not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink? Then Moshe and Aharon went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of meeting, and they fell on their faces, and the esteem of Jehovah appeared to them. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe, saying, Take the rod and assemble the congregation, you and your brother Aharon. And you shall speak to the rock before their eyes, and it shall give its water. And you shall bring water for them out of the rock, and give drink to the congregation and their livestock. And Moshe took the rod from before Jehovah, as he commanded him. And Moshe and Aharon assembled the assembly before the rock. And he said to them, Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock? Then Moshe lifted his hand and struck the rod twice with his rod, and much water came out, and the congregation and their livestock drank. But Jehovah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon, Because you did not believe me, to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore, you do not bring this assembly into the land which I have given them. These were the waters of Meribah, because the children of Israel contended with Jehovah, and he was set apart among them. And Moshe sent messengers from Kadesh to the sovereign of Edom. This is what your brother Yisrael said. You know all the hardship that has befallen us, that our fathers went down to Mitzrayim, and we dwelt in Mitzrayim a long time. And the Mitzrites did evil to us and our fathers. And we cried out to Jehovah, and he heard our voice, and sent the messenger, and brought us up out of Mitzrayim. And see, we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your border. Please let us pass over through your land. We shall not pass over through fields or vineyards, nor drink water from wells. We shall go along the sovereign's highway. We shall not turn aside, right or left, until we have passed over your border. But Edom said to him, You do not pass over through me, lest I come out against you with the sword. And the children of Israel said to him, We shall go by the highway, and if I or my livestock drink any of your water, then I shall pay for it. Let me only pass over on foot, without a word. But he said, You do not pass over. And Edom came out against them with many men, and with a strong hand. So when Edom refused to let Yisrael pass over through his border, Yisrael turned away from him. And the children of Yisrael, all the company, departed from Kadesh, and came to Mount Or. And Jehovah spoke to Moshe and to Aharon in Mount Or, near the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aharon is to be gathered to his people, for he is not to enter the land which I have given to the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my mouth at the water of Meribah. Take Aharon and Eleazar his son, and bring them up to Mount Or. And strip Aharon of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son, for Aharon is to be gathered to his people, and die there. And Moshe did as Jehovah commanded, and they went up to Mount Or before the eyes of all the congregation. And Moshe stripped Aharon of his garments, and put them on Eleazar his son. And Aharon died there on the top of the mountain. And Moshe and Eleazar came down from the mountain. And when all the congregation saw that Aharon was dead, all the house of Israel wept for Aharon 30 days. Numbers 21. And the sovereign of Arad, the Canaanite, who dwelt in the south, heard that Israel was coming on the way to Atharam, and he fought against Israel, and took some of them captive. Then Israel made a vow to Jehovah, and said, If you deliver this people into my hand indeed, then I shall put their cities under the ban. And Jehovah listened to the voice of Israel, and gave up the Canaanites, and they put them and their cities under the ban. So the name of that place was called Hormah. And they departed from Mount Hor by the way of the Sea of Reeds, to go around the land of Edom. But the being of the people grew impatient because of the way. And the people spoke against Elohim and against Moshe. Why have you brought us up out of Mitzrayim to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and our being loathes this light bread. And Jehovah sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the people of Israel died. Then the people came to Moshe and said, We have sinned, for we have spoken against Jehovah and against you. Pray to Jehovah to take away the serpents from us. So Moshe prayed on behalf of the people. And Jehovah said to Moshe, Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole. And it shall be that every one who is bitten, when he looks at it, shall live. So Moshe made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole. And it came to be, if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. And the children of Israel set out and camped in Oboth. And they departed from Oboth and camped at Lai Ha'abarim, in the wilderness which is east of Moab, toward sunrise. From there they set out and camped at the Wadi Zared. From there they set out and camped on the other side of the Arnon, which is in the wilderness that extends from the border of the Amorites. For the Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Therefore it is said in the book of the battles of Jehovah, Wahib in Suphah, the Wadi Arnon, and the slope of the wadi that turns aside to the dwelling of Ar, and lies on the border of Moab. And from there on to Beer, which is the well, where Jehovah said to Moshe, Gather the people, and let me give them water. Yisrael then sang this song, Spring up, O well, sing to it. A well the leaders sank, which the nobles of the people dug with their staves, by the word of the lawgiver. Then from the wilderness on to Matana, from Matana to Nahaliel, from Nahaliel to Bamoth, and from Bamoth in the valley that is in the country of Moab, to the top of the Pisgah, which looks down on the wasteland. And Yisrael sent messengers to Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, saying, Let me pass through your land. We shall not turn off into fields or vineyards. We shall not drink water from wells, but go by the sovereign's highway until we have passed over your border. But Sihon would not allow Yisrael to pass through his border. So Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Yisrael in the wilderness. And he came to Yahatz and fought against Yisrael. And Yisrael smote him with the edge of the sword, and took possession of his land from Arnon to the Yabok, and as far as the children of Ammon. For the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Yisrael took all these cities, and Yisrael dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all its villages. For Heshbon was a city of Sihon, the sovereign of the Amorites, who had fought against the former sovereign of Moab, and had taken all his land from his hand as far as the Arnon. That is why those who speak in Proverbs say, "Come to Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built and established." For fire went out from Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It consumed Ar of Moab, the masters of the heights of the Arnon. Woe to you, Moab! You have perished, O people of Chemosh. He has given his sons as fugitives and his daughters into captivity, to Sihon, the sovereign of the Amorites. Then we shot them. Heshbon has perished as far as Dibon, and we laid waste as far as Nophah, which reaches Medeba. So Yisrael dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moshe sent to spy out Yazer, and they took its villages, and drove out the Amorites who were there, and turned and went up by the way to Bashan. And Og, sovereign of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. And Jehovah said to Moshe, "Do not fear him, for I have given him into your hand, with all his people and his land. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon." And they smote him and his sons and all his people, until no remnant was left to him, and they took possession of his land. And the children of Israel set out and camped in the desert plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan of Jericho. Judges 11, verses 1 through 33. And Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty brave one, but he was the son of a whore. And Gilad brought forth Jephthah, and the wife of Gilad bore sons. And when his wife's sons grew up, they drove Jephthah out, and said to him, "You shall not have an inheritance in the house of our father, for you are the son of another woman." And Jephthah fled from his brothers and dwelt in the land of Tob. And worthless men banded together with Jephthah and went out with him. And it came to be, some time later, that the children of Ammon fought against Israel. And it came to be, when the children of Ammon fought against Israel, that the elders of Gilad went to bring Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said to Jephthah, "Come, and you shall be our commander, and let us fight against the children of Ammon." But Jephthah said to the elders of Gilad, "Did you not hate me, and drive me from my father's house? Why have you come to me now, when you are in trouble?" And the elders of Gilad said to Jephthah, "That is the reason we have turned to you, that you shall go with us and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilad." And Jephthah said to the elders of Gilad, "If you take me back home to fight against the children of Ammon, and Jehovah gives them to me, am I to be your head?" And the elders of Gilad said to Jephthah, "Jehovah is witness between us, if we do not do according to your words." Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilad, and the people set him over them as head and commander. And Jephthah spoke all his words before Jehovah in Mitzpah. And Jephthah sent messengers to the sovereign of the children of Ammon, saying, "What is between you and me, that you have come to fight against me in my land?" And the sovereign of the children of Ammon said to the messengers of Jephthah, "Because Israel took my land when they came up out of Mitzrayim, from the Arnon as far as the Yabok, and to the Jordan, and now give back those lands in peace." But Jephthah again sent messengers to the sovereign of the children of Ammon, and said to him, "This is what Jephthah said, Israel did not take the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. For when they came up from Mitzrayim, and Israel walked through the wilderness as far as the Sea of Reeds, and came to Kadesh, then Israel sent messengers to the sovereign of Edom, saying, 'Please let me pass over through your land.' But the sovereign of Edom would not listen. And they also sent to the sovereign of Moab, but he refused. So Israel stayed at Kadesh. Then they went through the wilderness and around the land of Edom and the land of Moab, and came to the east side of the land of Moab, and encamped beyond Arnon. But they did not enter the border of Moab, for Arnon was the border of Moab. And Israel sent messengers to Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, sovereign of Heshbon. And Israel said to him, Please let us pass over through your land into our place. But Sihon did not trust Israel to pass over through his border. And Sihon gathered all his people together, and they encamped in Yahatz, and fought against Israel. And Jehovah, Elohim of Israel, gave Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel took possession of all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that land. Thus they took possession of all the border of the Amorites, from Arnon to the Yabok, and from the wilderness to the Jordan. And now Jehovah, Elohim of Israel, has driven out the Amorites from before his people Israel. Should you then possess it? Whatever Chemosh, your mighty one, gives you to possess, do you not possess it? And all that which Jehovah our Elohim takes possession of before us, we possess. And now are you any better than Balak, son of Zippor, sovereign of Moab? Did he ever strive against Israel? Did he ever fight against them? While Israel dwelt in Heshbon and its villages, and in Aroer and its villages, and in all the cities along the banks of Arnon, for 300 years. Why did you not recover them within that time? So I have not sinned against you, but you are doing me evil by fighting against me. Let Jehovah the judge today between the children of Israel and the children of Ammon. But the sovereign of the children of Ammon did not listen to the words which Jephthah sent him. And the Spirit of Jehovah came upon Jephthah, and he passed through Gilad and Manasseh, and passed through Mitzvah of Gilad. And from Mitzvah of Gilad he passed on toward the children of Ammon. And Jephthah made a vow to Jehovah, and said, If you give the children of Ammon into my hands, then it shall be that whatever comes out of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall belong to Jehovah, and I shall offer it up as a burnt offering. Jephthah then passed on toward the children of Ammon to fight against them, and Jehovah gave them into his hands. And he smote them from Aroer as far as Meneth, 20 cities, and to Abel Keramim, with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were humbled before the children of Israel. John 2, verses 1 through 12. And on the third day there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Yeshua was there. And both Yeshua and his taught ones were invited to the wedding. And when they were short of wine, the mother of Yeshua said to him, They have no wine. Yeshua said to her, Woman, what is that to me and to you? My hour has not yet come. His mother said to the servants, Do whatever he says to you. And there were 6 stone water jugs standing there, according to the mode of cleansing of the Yehudim, each holding 2 or 3 measures. Yeshua said to them, Fill the water jugs with water. And they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, Now draw out and take it to the master of the feast. So they took it. But when the master of the feast had tasted the water that had become wine, and did not know where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew, the master of the feast called the bridegroom, and said to him, Every man at the beginning sets out the good wine, and when they have drunk, then that which is poorer. You have kept the good wine until now. This, the beginning of the signs, Yeshua did in Cana of Galilee, and manifested his esteem, and his taught ones believed in him. After this, he went down to Capharnaum, he and his mother, and his brothers, and his taught ones, and there they stayed not many days.